Welcome, everybody, to the Making Awesome podcast. This is episode 206. I'm fairly certain it's 206. We're back from 3D Printopia. Actually got back on Wednesday. Uh, Pay no attention to the elixir in the cat bed. There's no reason that that's there. You see nothing. You see nothing. We're going to be talking all about 3D Printopia, some of the awesome stuff that we saw while we were there, and to anyone, I'll put it out here right in the beginning. If you wanted to be in an episode and you were at 3D Printopia and you had a booth, you could prove to us that you had a booth, I will give you an episode of the podcast. So, reach out to me. DM me on either Twitter or just send me an email, youtube@3dmusketeers.com, if you want to be a podcast guest and you were at 3D Printopia. I know there were so many things that we missed, as always. And I always hate that, right? And I talk about this more often than I care to, but I want to reiterate it again because I recognize that there are people that go to these events that all they want to do is talk with a content creator or be in a video or whatever it is, right? They did all of this work to be in a video with a content creator and nobody stopped and talked with them for whatever reason that was, whether we were busy, we had a schedule, whatever it was, they didn't make it. And that might have them feel as though they're not worthy. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. We're just insanely busy all the time and we just literally run out of time for these events. So if you had a booth at 3D Printopia and you want to show off what you're doing, you can. We'll give you a podcast episode, but you better have at least an hour to talk about what you're doing and how you do it. So anyways, let's dig into what we saw. Again, don't forget, if you're watching this live, it comes to you completely ad-free, but we do ask every now and then to kick a couple of bucks into that creator fund, like, subscribe, all those things. We got some awesome people here hanging out. Max H, the Squid 510, TJL, RS Makes, who said, it was great to meet you at Ripkin. Ripkin is the stadium local to Aberdeen where they do the after parties. So there's that. Shannon is here. Nomad's Galaxy is here being a pain as normal. Hi, Nomad. Mike Never Let Machines Win. Duff. James the Printer. Stuart Fisher. 3D Medic Vince. Spectra V3I. And I see Simon Snow gifting 5 memberships. Thank you very much. We got Insidious Bliss. Got one. Mitch Davis is here. Mr. Filament himself is here. Dougal, Andrew Smith, Mike G, Cat Herder, Cam. Ooh, that sounds like a fun one. All got memberships thanks to Simon Snow, so thank you very much for making that happen. Chad Kreider says, hello, fellow Floridian. Yeah, we literally ran away from Hurricane Helene. If you don't follow us on social media, you wouldn't know, but our flight from 3D Printopia, or flight to 3D Printopia, rather, was supposed to take off at Friday at 7 a.m. Well, they closed Tampa International Airport Thursday at 2 a.m. for Hurricane Helene, which just kind of went right up the coast by us. So we had to drive to Orlando. We did okay here. Slight little bit of power outage, but unfortunately, my brother's significant other, she had quite a bit of water in her house, and yeah, now I have no dehumidifiers in my shop anymore. So all the dehumidifiers that we had here went to him to help dry out her house. And when we get back, we have now Tropical Storm Milton, but is likely going to make landfall at a Category 3 or above. Yeah, and of course, between that, we also had the dock strikes, which make people panic buy, plus a hurricane. TLDR, I go out shopping for groceries on Saturdays. It was terrible. I got what I need, but my God, I have never seen Floridians panic more than this in a while. And for those that don't know about the Waffle House Index, TLDR, if a Waffle House closes, I am already in my car driving away from the storm. If you don't understand that, look up the Waffle House Index. There's one about 10 minutes from me, so we're going to be using that as kind of our what the heck do we do. We haven't decided to board up yet for this next storm, but it looks like sometime Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be hitting us. So if for some reason the video is late on Wednesday, I'm not in the premiere, or there isn't a video Friday, I will do my best. If I have to do a raw video with no cuts for Print Vix Friday, I will do it. But yeah, we got this hurricane coming. We don't know what's going to happen. Category 3 is about 115-mile-an-hour winds. That's very fast. It will cause significant damage. Anyways, getting back to the topic, Earthtopia. We did get to hang out with Mitch Davis. That is Mitch from Polar Filament. If you don't know Polar, we did a chat with Mitch all about materials, where we dug into deep about what's going on. If you do want to win some materials, it is from Printed Solid, not from Polar Filament, although we might have some from Polar Filament here relatively soon. But if you want to win some awesome Printed Solid filament, you can do so by clicking that pinned chat message and entering to win. We'll give it away toward the end of the episode. All right, back on topic. So, 3D Printopia. It was awesome. Day one, we could barely get anything filmed because there were so many people. Thousands of people came out from all over the world to see the cool stuff that's occurring within the industry. Interestingly, there were very few companies that had like major new announcements. Coco Press had the V2, and Prusa had the Mark IVS, but that'd been announced for a little bit. They had Chambers and all that kind of thing, but no other like big printer announcements, unless I missed something major that I didn't notice. We saw Rob Mink with the Crooked Crow, the belt 3D printer that kind of, it both tickles and confuses that part of your brain that's just like, you can do what now? Yeah, the Crooked Crow is a belt printer that can be a regular Core XY, like a 2.4, but then the whole freaking gantry can tilt. It can tilt! And then it can print like a regular freaking belt printer. Super, super cool. Really enjoy that kind of, just ingenuity when you're looking outside of what has been traditionally understood with kinematics, and being able to say, well, we have quad Z motors, we shouldn't be able to do this, and lo and behold, you totally can. You can totally do this, and it is super cool. It scares the hell out of me, and I definitely didn't go raid a Micro Center for random cheap Ender parts that were on clearance to build machines out of, so that's cool. Yeah, that machine scares me. I want to build one because I think it's super cool, but at the same time, brother, I don't know if I have the skill to do it, but I guess we're going to find out, right? I guess we're going to find out. Yeah. We're going to have Rob on a podcast, so don't worry. He'll come on and talk to us all about Crooked Crow and the Baby Belt and everything. Yes, he did have the Baby Belt Pro XL. We spoke with a company that we coined Out of Spite Engineering, so I really hope that you figured out that domain by now, because otherwise that's been taken by the time this video is out again. But yeah, it was a really cool event. We got to meet some awesome people like TJ Ellis said, "Hey Grant, great to see you at Earthtopia. Thanks for the photo." So yeah, I hope that anyone that wanted to get photos with us did. If not, please just come up and say hey when we're not filming, right? We met a lot of awesome fans. We actually got to meet a new staff member, Lucas. It was a really great event. I will say one of the most impactful talks that I had there was actually at the after party. It was hanging out with Steve Builds, Modbot, right? Was it Modbot? Yeah, Modbot Daniel and Nero. It was the four of us. We were just hanging out at a table and we were just talking content. We're like, yep, all of our metrics are down. Every metric across the board is down. And We all don't know why, but we're just keep going. And we were all like, yeah, we get burned out pretty easily as content creators, and these events just like recharge our batteries. So it was good to see that I'm not alone in like, my metrics are down. Is it because I'm making crappy videos, or is it because the overlords have decided that, I don't know, maybe we're not as cool anymore? But I guess it is kind of nice to see that we're not the only ones going through that. So, um, yeah. Anyways, I I like reconnecting with the community, right? So it's nice to go and meet people in person, obviously, catch up with friends that I really only get to see at these events and see what they're all working on. Like my buddy Amos, who has this whole pick and place system for sorting bolts. It is truly, truly beautiful. Um, wow, Nick T, brother. No, absolutely not. That's no, we don't talk about that stuff here. Um, but yeah, it is cool to see what's going on in the industry. Like the new Cocoa Press V2, they have moved away from these Ultimachine boards and Marlin, and they've gone with Big Tree Tech. They're going Clipper, and in fact, it's using Danger Clipper, which we talked about what, literally last week with Reth, or 2 weeks ago with Reth. So it's like, I knew about Danger Clipper, which was super cool. But they're using Danger Clipper to get everything right with the Cocoa Press V2. As always, that interview with Ellie is properly unhinged. I think you all will enjoy it when it comes out. Yeah, I didn't know about Danger Clipper until Reth said something, so it's very interesting to see something that I learned about literally the week prior being a valuable asset to me in the next 7 days, which is, like, where else are you going to find that in an industry where you're not immediately seeking a piece of knowledge, and yet it becomes immediately valuable to you within 7 days of obtaining that knowledge? I don't think that there are many other communities and, hobbies out there that have that kind of draw. Now, was that very much just luck, right? That we happened to have Reth on right before? Sure. But take it, right? You absolutely take it. So when we got into Baltimore, we actually drove down to work with a new client where we scanned ears. Yes, these things, ears. Because they do really high-end spatial audio, and we got to spend an afternoon with them, listening to some beautiful music, some really cool sound setups, and then 3D scanning people's ears, which was always funny. I let people know that we had our Artec Eva at the event, but nobody really came up and asked to get scanned, so we didn't do any scans at the event. However, when we went to go hang out with Printed Sol, I have no idea how this spool got into my possession. I don't know if you can read that or not, but I have no idea how this happened. It fell into my bag. I don't know how it happened. But we scanned pretty much every staff member at Printed Solid, which was pretty awesome. I am still processing those scans, by the way, Printed Solid peeps. The laptop was up here, but I had to, right? We had to have this up here because everybody's been asking about this, so I have to have it on display. This here, I mean, it's right there. You can read it. You can read it. Ha! So cool. So, yeah. Anyways, I am excited. Soon TM, obviously. Mike said, did I get to see the scanning trailer out back? I did. Yeah, they were using a bunch of Pies and Pie cams, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. It's a different type of scan. I like that they did that in the trailer. I thought that was pretty cool. I've never seen a portable 3D scanning photogrammetry array that's done in a trailer like that. That is really smart and actually removes one of the biggest challenges of photogrammetry arrays, which is moving them and setting them up. I saw some of the scan data that came from it. I'll stick with my Eva. But for what they do, it's more than adequate. As someone that used to use an iPad with a structured Gen 1 to scan people for full color 3D printing, I know how low res you can get away with, and it works perfectly fine, and you can't tell. So they are using the HP 580 process. That's the HP MJF full color nylon process, which we had an interesting chat about because HP did end of life those machines. So they're still supporting it, but they're no longer selling those machines. I don't know how long HP is going to continue to support those machines, but most likely they're going to make the move to Mamaki, the machine that Joel just got. If any of you have been following Joel on Twitter, you'll see that he's got a Mamaki full color. I don't want to say polyjet because technically that's a Stratasys process, but it's basically polyjet. So, yeah. Mr. Grid said I was asking David about that stuff at the event. Really looking forward to when the masses can have some too. Yeah, we have some really cool footage of Elixir getting made with the new lines at Printed Solid. They've now gone to a fully automated process. So if you remember from our video last year, Printed Solid, we had to literally take buckets of the like raw pellets and then dump them into a hopper, right? That's how they made filament. Now there's a whole vacuum system to load raw material. They've got dual dosing setups. So for something like Elixir, you can put colorant in one and then the TPU in the other, and it will precisely dose it out in a percentage-based ratio, which is really awesome. And so it allows them to be more productive. And the lines have completely moved. Back where the lines are is actually where Dave's office is now. And now the lines are out where shipping used to be. So the whole thing has changed around. I think you guys are going to enjoy the tour. And keep an eye out. There's a lot of fun Easter eggs in that video that I think you all will enjoy. But yeah, as the squid says, I still have some unopened boxes of Polyalchemy Elixir. I do too. I have a couple of boxes of unopened Elixir, and then I have a couple... I think I have one of every Polyalchemy Elixir still that I haven't used. And the nice thing about it is because it's got TPU in it, it really doesn't degrade like regular PLA does. And I've even told it, like, I've got pretty much every Elixir that Printed Solid has ever made, right? All the test spools, I've got pretty much one of everything. I refuse to use them, and I refuse to use my Polyalchemy Elixir until we can buy the Elixir off the shelf. So stay tuned. It's coming soon, TM. And whenever it does happen, whenever Elixir does become public, yes, we will do a big live stream. We will give away a bunch of spools. So just stay tuned for that. But yeah, I feel like we're all hoarding the Polyalchemy Elixir because it's special, right? It's like, oh, my precious, I can't do anything with it. I might have made that joke in the video, but whatever. Too bad. I'm making it again. But yeah, we saw, gosh, some crazy things out of Fabrico, West 3D, these resellers and kit providers, right? So I might be saying this wrong. And Daniel from West 3D, we need to get a podcast like ASAP. We had so many, like, this was during Teardown. We had some awesome just business chats, right? I was helping them wrap their big pallets up as we do. So once the events are over, that's when Teardown happens. The first thing we do is we go to a vehicle or we drop all of our bags at somebody's booth, and then we just run around and start helping people with pack up. I can't really lift a lot of stuff, not safely at least, so I am happy to, help cover things, help, pack things up. But then all of a sudden you get into these conversations as you're doing it, and with West 3D, it was about some fundraising things they're going to be doing with the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation. But then we also started talking about business and how it is to be around your competitors. And he said, dude, we have some of the coolest competitors. He said, I remember a time where we ran out of an inventory item, and for some reason the website didn't update it. We were able to get it from Fabrico. They sold it to us at our exact cost and shipped it on our behalf. So we never lost any money. That's a big deal. Companies don't have to do that to each other. He's like, this is probably one of the only industries I've ever worked in where we are friends with our competitors. And I totally agree. I am friends with my competitors, and it's kind of cool. We are going to try to do a business panel at the next show. Maybe Smurf, but definitely at the next domestic rep festival or whatever next festival that we go to. Try to do a panel where we talk with all of the like reselling business owners and all the business owners that happen to come out that can do a panel. And we're just going to talk about what got them into this industry, why this is a big deal for them, and all that kind of stuff, which I think super freaking cool. And I hope you guys will like it too. Johnson says, open to swapping my half spool of pink elixir for a 5-tool Prusa XL. I would swap this red spool for a 5-tool head XL, another one. And considering this is like one of only a couple dozen that was ever made that day, it's special. It wasn't even vacuum sealed. I literally took it off the line. I also have a one-off color too, which is super cool, and I hope to see them. I don't want to show that one on camera because I don't know if I can. But yeah, as Thunder Key says, no lowballing, I know what I got. So all you Facebook Marketplace lowballers for your project cars, not around here, kid. We know better than that. We know better than that. But it was very refreshing to see all of our friends at the shows, seeing what came out. I mean, we've got new stuff from E3D with the Revo Roto or Roto Revo. Revo Roto, probably that one. We saw the new bamboo Diamondback nozzle, which I already have, but I got to see more of them in person. We'll be trying that out. Nomad says, I can't wait to see the 3DMs, but we did not make a custom color. We will be doing that at some point, but yeah. Mr. Grange has the Roto Vitamins. Yeah, the new Roto Vitamins. Specifically, they showed off the ones for Vorons that have just all these ready-to-go systems that use Roto for a Voron. And it is just dummy lightweight. Because Roto is so lightweight for a direct drive extruder. And I'm excited to see what some of these, like I'm looking at like Albert 24/7, one of the high-speed printers, like, you know, what crazy things can we do with it versus, you know, the regular tool head. Because, of course, the lighter the tool head, the faster you can move it because, you know, force being what it is. Duff says he's hoping to make it out next year. I like 3D Printopia. It's just in a similar to Murph, which I've never been to, but they're in a really weird area. So this event is at a community college in Bel Air, Maryland. There is nowhere to stay reasonably close to it. Every place that you can stay, you have to have a car or you're Ubering. We stay at Aberdeen, which is about a 10 to 15 minute drive away. And that's where a lot of people tend to stay. But it can be a pain because not everybody can afford a car. So we're trying to figure out who needs a ride, who doesn't need a ride, who can come with us early in the morning when we go and who doesn't need to. And yeah, it'd be really cool if it ends up moving to Philly, as Nomad's Galaxy says. But we're going to miss the awesome server at Bob Evans named Mel, who just decided that choosing violence was the right move, and we were all here for it. I say that, but it wasn't really choosing violence. She had no filter, and it was amazing. Absolutely stellar. We all tipped her very well. It was funny. If you're not in our Discord server at the $10 tier and higher, you have missed that story. You've missed the video of it as well. And if you do want to support the channel, obviously, a couple of bucks goes a long way to help keeping these streams ad-free while they occur. Johnson says, I hope I can make it next year, too. One bit of good news is open source is down the road for me next year. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do open source. We're starting to get to the point where we have to have sponsors to go to events because it gets so expensive. And open source, literally this year, we were choosing between open source and going to Smurf. And yeah, I'm sorry. It's go to California or go to Manchester in the UK. Sorry. I know which one I'm going to. I'm going overseas. Because once you're over there, it's very cheap to travel inside of Europe. It's not very cheap to travel inside of the United States. But if we can get a sponsor, we'll go. But otherwise, we might have to say no. But we'll see. Maybe we'll be cool enough by that point for Open Sauce to say, hey, we'd love to have you guys come out and do whatever weird thing you're doing at the time. Big thank you to Mr. Grinch for the $1.99. Thank you very much in assisting this. John Stern says Manchester and California have similar weather. I'll tell you, it's not... what is it? It is currently 28 degrees Celsius here. It is raining outside, or 76 degrees freedom for those of you that don't like Celsius, because it is a better system. Yeah, and it's really high humidity because Florida, like my solar array should be pumping out like close to 600 watts right now, and it's pumping out like 120 watts. Hooray. Love it. But yeah, I actually still have to buy everything for Smurf. I need to get on those tickets. But yeah, I really liked Printopia. For me, it's nostalgic because it was the first event that we went to back in 2021, 2022, probably 2022. Yeah, I think it was 2022 was the first one that we went to. So it was very refreshing to go out there to the same place. We know the restaurants that we like to go to, so it was easy to find places to eat. We did end up going up to Philly. I can't talk about what we did up there just for safety and security reasons, but we did hang out in Philly one evening. It was awesome. Yeah, it was a really, really fun event. And the dumb thing, okay, so here's the dumb thing as a Florida man, right? You know what I really like about 3D Printopia is if you take your GPS and you tell it to avoid tolls and avoid highways, you are doing nothing but backcountry, big hill, twisty, turny, winding mountain roads, and it was awesome. I love driving. Also, we went to and I might mispronounce this. I hope I don't. But the Conowingo Dam. And I didn't know, but there are places where you can just like get really close to the dam. I will try to get inside of it next year. I would love to see a hydroelectric power plant from the inside. I think it would be super cool to see the inside of that dam. But we learned that it was built in 1926. It's almost 100 years old. They had all these cool photos of it. We went down to where the fishermen go because they catch really good-sized fish out there. Lots of eagles, and Amber made a friend. She made a friend out of a praying mantis. So it was fun. We had a really fun time out there. We spent our last day. Well, when we went out to Printed Solid, we stopped there. We're like, oh crap, we can actually go down. And then on our drive back, so Wednesday when we were flying out, we spent about an hour and a half out there, and it was really pretty. So yeah. It was pretty. Squid510 says, what, Florida man afraid of toll roads? Well, okay, tolls in a rental vehicle get very expensive, one. But two, why take interstates and highways when the back roads are way more fun? They're way more fun. I really enjoy taking the back roads. Especially when, they have posted speed limits, but let's be realistic. The speed limits are nothing more than a suggestion, okay? When it's a 35 and you're getting passed by truckers doing 55, you could do 55, okay? Okay, that's just what I'm saying. I will say, Pennsylvania, your roads suck. You need to get that stuff sorted, man. Your roads are terrible. And some of your interchanges are atrocious. Was not a lot of fun driving up there. What we did in Pennsylvania, awesome. Can't talk about it. But your roads are terrible. You need to fix them. Yeah. So, John Stern. Proper G says, as an owner of a Lotus Elise, I'll go for the back roads every time. My brother with the Elise. That's a car right there. Man, I didn't know you had a freaking Elise. If y'all don't know about the Lotus Elise, look it up. It is a wonderfully performing car. It is a Mazda Miata that is mid-engine that just did a bump. Just did a bump of coke and said, F it. we're going for it. It is the car famously that Top Gear showed you can't actually lock onto it with an Apache helicopter. That is the Lotus Elise. Although that might have been an Exige, which is the track version of the Elise. I'm a car guy for people that haven't figured that out yet. I really like cars. Uh, but yes, absolutely love the back roads. NY Cyril says, back roads are the making of every good horror movie. Well, good thing, like most horror movies, we don't walk into the empty buildings. And we're Florida people. We know better than that. Come on. We know how to do it. Nomad says, member for 6 months, trolling you for 6 months and loving it. So happy to see you again, friend. We'll plan to get proper cheesesteaks next year. We did get proper cheesesteaks. Still wish they had more salt on them, but we did get proper cheesesteaks. Nomad, I will tell you about it off stream. I do not want to talk about it publicly. It was the Exige? Okay. Well, the Elise is basically an Exige that has been down-spec'd a little bit. Still a nice car. Very, very, very nice cars. I think it was the Exige. My Elise. Oh, you supercharged your Elise. You're a madman, Mr. Stern. I want to go driving with you, buddy. I want to go, like, supercharged Elise. Yeah. Because then it's a bit of a sleeper. The Exige has that big wing and the hood scoop, or the roof scoop. Yeah. Nice cars. Really, really nice cars. Lotus makes some really beautiful cars. And fun fact, we have the pleasure of working on a few local Lotus. Was it in Avora? I forget. We worked on a couple of older Lotuses here locally. Lotuses? Lotai. I'm going with Lotai. It sounds funnier. Locally, where we made some switch panel stuff for them, which was pretty cool. We met Tony D as well. We've seen Tony D a few times. In fact, when Tony came into town, we went out to dinner with him. And if you do happen to travel to the Tampa area and you want to get together, just hit me up. I mean, we're here. So, yeah, it was cool to see Tony and his family. And I always laugh because people bring stuff for Amber. Tony's wife brought a really nice little book nook for Amber. And I laugh. I'm like, it's so funny how people just instantly connect well with Amber. And she gets all these little gifts and things from the wives. And I think it's hilarious. And I love every bit of it. It warms my cold heart. Amber started the show with 0 book nooks, and we left Printopia with 2, because Amber bought another one when we were out and about. Mr. Grinch has read, David said, soon. Printitsol is the only place to get it. Yep, this is the only place to get this stuff. Joseph Carver says, Barber's Museum near Birmingham, Alabama has some sweet old Lotai last I went. I like Elote. That's pretty good too. And that's fair. Nomad says Amber's the real MVP of 3DM. I would agree. Amber is the MVP of 3D Musketeers. She's pretty freaking awesome. As we are preparing for another storm. Welcome to Florida. You can't escape this. Whether it's Florida man being crazy or the weather being crazy, you really can't get away from it. But yeah, we had such a great time there. Let me see. We saw a rat rig, obviously. Saw a couple of rat rigs, actually. Didn't get to talk to Fabrico or West 3D on camera, and I always feel bad about that. But Fabrico is starting to carry the Baby Belt. The Baby Belt Pro kits are being carried at Fabrico. That was cool to see. Saw some really cool cosplay stuff that we just couldn't get on camera. Off Earth 3D was there. We could never get a time where he was at his booth where we could talk with him. But it was awesome to see all of his like crazy high-end cosplay stuff. There were a couple of cosplayers that were showing off some of the weapons that they had made, and for obvious reasons we can't show that in YouTube videos, but really nice quality pistols that certainly should have had orange tips painted on them, but I guess they were movie props for something, so it was acceptable, yada yada. Nonetheless, some really lifelike stuff. We finally caught something interesting on 360. We were interviewing with Polymaker Education when Geek Tech, they had a huge mech. Like, it probably was 8 feet tall. It's a big mech. The left arm of it fell off. Like, it broke off. I guess they knew it was failing, and they were just kind of standing around waiting for it to fail. Well, we were interviewing with Polymaker Education when it failed. So we actually have video footage of it, which was kind of interesting. And we didn't say anything. We didn't tell them that we had that video footage until, like, the next day. And we're like, hey, by the way, you know when the arm of that thing fell off? Yeah, we had a 360 camera that captured all of that. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, you're not mad? And no, we're not mad at all. I'm like, okay, great. Because I didn't really know how to approach that one. Oh, we got to play the Cookie Cad. What the hell is it called? Oh no, I don't know the name of the game that Mitch made. What's that game called? Can someone tell me the name? You gotta fit the shapes and then it pops out. What the hell is that game called? Perfection? I don't know. That's not called Perfection, is it? Concentration? No, I don't think that's it either. I definitely don't have enough of that. Duff says just rub a little gloop on it. I think they tried, but it was so heavy. Cookie Catastrophe, I think is what they were calling it. Yeah. Anyways, I failed at it, but it was fun to try. The droid builders were there. Droids are always cool to see. God, they look really, really good. I'm trying to think of, like, all the other fun stuff. Lightburn was there. Got to check out some cool pew pew Lightburn stuff. I did just update my Lightburn, and I got called out by the Lightburn peeps because I did show what version I was on, and I'm gonna read that off because I think it's really, really funny. So I said, finally time for an upgrade, and Adam, kind of like the second or third in command at Lightbird's like, F, dude, like, holy crap. Dom says, I don't believe, Grant doesn't believe in updates, doesn't look at his firmwares. I said, look, man, it worked fine, so I never bought the license updates. I did now. Jackie said, dude, it's been years, and apparently I have been a customer with Lightburn so long that even Adam wasn't working there when everything. But, like, yeah, I'm one of those people of, if it doesn't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, and apparently it is called Perfection. I didn't know that. But yes, Gloop was there. We went up against Jeff. We were one of the first to get up against Jeff, so we held #1 against just enough physical force. Jeff himself. Florida Man did redeem his title. I didn't win, of course, but we did, was it 100 I did 150 kilos on my own worth of pulling force, and I think with Amber we did 190. And that's where Amber was very thankful to have safety shorts on because Jeff dumped both of us onto the ground. But it was funny. I wore a traffic cone helmet. That was hilarious and very heavy, but it was fun. Yeah, Jeff is always a really cool demonstration. For those that don't know, Jeff is a Fanic 420i that Gloop has that they use for a tug of war demonstration. It is literally a marketing thing. Yeah, it was super cool. And I got to learn that Gloop is also a bit of a car guy and has dual stage methanol injection on the Gloop truck to increase its fuel economy by almost doubling it from 6 miles per gallon up to 10. And they have a very big 4-door box truck that they take everything in. So that's a significant fuel savings by just doing methanol injection. And it is super cool. We did a video on it, just a quick little cell phone video. You guys will see it at some point in a video. But yeah, I had no idea that Gloop happened to be a car guy. And lo and behold, brother put methanol injection on his truck, so his truck's got a bit of meth. Bit of Florida Man in the truck, if you will, you know? Proper. Oh, man. And just, like, seeing all these really cool, really cool designs. I forget the name. Guy had a huge castle diorama set up that was just all 3D printed. Everything looked beautiful. I forget the guy's name, but it was right kind of when you walked in on the top floor. Beautiful, beautiful display. We got to talk to him. We saw Nathan Builds Robots with his quad gantry polar printer. We got to talk with someone that has a printer called the Magpie, which is a very big rook, basically, and it was built out of spite, so hence out of spite engineering. And that was where the guy that was with him, who knew me personally, my buddy Lucian, was texting me on my cell phone like, hey, I would love for you to come look at this. We told you guys, if you wanted us to come and talk with you, reach out to us. And Lucian did. He's like, hey, I want you to come see my buddy's project. And he got an episode because of it, or, part of an episode because of it. So I always enjoy that kind of thing. But yeah. Let me see what else. Some really cool cosplay stuff. We saw Domingo from Printed Solid, who was there under his personal brand, Black Cat Prismatics. So got to see the stuff that he was doing and showing off to people. We saw 3D Print Bunny Natalie, who we gotta have on a podcast. You guys gotta help me make that happen. She's still very camera shy, but we always have a lot of fun talking with Natalie and hanging out and just kind of seeing what she's up to and the craziness that she's going to do. Of course, we got a bunch of maker chips. K2 made me some. I have business cards, so I didn't make any maker chips. A lot of our machines are making us money, so we don't really have machine time to make maker chips. Sorry. They are cool, though. I will relegate. They are cool. I think it's I think it's great for internal stuff like maker to maker, but it is difficult for me, at least, from maker to exterior personnel, for those to really hold as much as they do for maker to maker, right? So like, if I was to go to talk with a client for the first time and I gave them a maker chip rather than a business card, I'm not certain that it would have the same impact. It is very cool for makers, but it is a little bit difficult for me, at least for the business side of it. But we could do what Zach Friedman did and put NFC chips, and then that would kind of do a lot of that. Mr. Grinch with the $1.99, thank you again for the $1.99. And if you do want to support the channel and what we do here, you can do so. Start at the $10 tier and higher, gets you into the private Discord server. But hey, every little bit counts to help keep these streams ad-free for you all. But yes, methanol injection for economy and power. Yeah, they can, I guess, comfortably travel now at 75 miles an hour without getting close to red lines. So gotta love that kind of thing too. Spectre V3i says, do you know if Printed Solid has the Mark IV-S in stock? All I see is the Mark IV. It doesn't mention the Mark IV-S. They are assembling Prussias in America now. So you can actually get an assembled in America Mark IV-S. I am not certain if they are available yet for purchase, but you should be able to get them relatively soon. So we did see that. We actually showed you guys how they do it. And in fact, they did it in such a way that the setups are almost identical to what Prusa themselves uses, down to the exact same extrusion channels that make everything up, the exact same screwdrivers, the exact same power tools, and everything, because Dave wanted to make sure that when his crew are building them versus the Prusa crew are building them, they are as identical as possible, because that way it retains the UL certifications that these machines already have, which is super freaking cool to see. And it was interesting to see the amount of effort that Dave put into making sure that these setups were as identical as possible. Did they need to have the exact same extrusions? No. Did they do it? Yes. They did it so, again, it can be as close to real life as it is at Prusa, which is super cool. Mike asked, did I get to see Carl and his revived Da Vinci printer project? We went by Carl's booth a couple of times, but he was always busy, so we never had a chance to talk with him, unfortunately. I did tell him to reach out, so we could get a podcast together, but Mike, if you can connect us again, that would be awesome, because I did not get information from Carl. I just gave him my card. I haven't heard anything, but I know a lot of people are still kind of on that, coming down phase from Printopia. I know I am. it is still a really, really fun event. There was a Delta printer that used drive shafts. We didn't get to film it. I could not find it. I don't know where it was, but I saw Nero's video on it, and I heard people talking about it. We had a really tough time finding it, but it was a really, really cool machine from what we could see. I wish we could interview with that person more, because that is, again, one of those machines that is the just because you can doesn't mean you should, but it is really cool that you did. That kind of stuff to me is awesome. We filmed a bit of the Derby race. It was requested from the 3D Printopia folks that we get some of the Derbies. And yes, as Duff said, like a PTO extruder. It's exactly what it was. It was a PTO extruder. Flexible drive shafts were a thing at one point, like the Flex 3 drive. Yeah, I remember those too, and I remember that they didn't last very long. They are valuable for machines like Deltas where you want to remove a lot of that weight, but yeah, they can be a bit of a pain. I remember ones that use like Bowden tube, or a Bowden tube style system for drive shafting. It was weird. It was weird. Those didn't stick very well because they're very, very unreliable long term. Oh, Mr. Grinch with the members only Discord, shoot me an email and I will get you in as soon as we are done with the show, so you can come hang out with us there. But yeah, these next few weeks are very busy for those that like to travel to these shows. Voron VICE is this weekend. I guess there's another thing in California happening next weekend. So there's a lot of maker events this time of year. It's just a tough time of year for us to travel here in Florida because of hurricane season. We've gotten lucky most years, but this year it was a little bit difficult. I mean, literally, our road out we thought was blocked, but thankfully they let us through. Fun fact, which I didn't know about, a lot of the fires that occur after hurricanes and floods are electrical fires. And they had a bunch of trailers that had caught fire because they go underwater, the water recedes, there's still water in the walls and in the electrical boxes, power gets flipped back on, there's still water there, water causes fire, and the fire departments have to work overtime. But we got lucky, we were able to get out. Mrs. Lee Marie 3D says, hey everyone, Mad Cat USA recommended our streams. Maybe don't trust Mad Cat. No, Mad Cat's awesome. Mad Cat's actually a staff member who is freaking awesome too. John says, what's in California? You mean Voron thing in Reno? Yeah, Vice. There is something in California next weekend. I'm fairly certain. Aaron Gemini Dog says, I'm a new subscriber and new to printing. This channel is amazing. Hey, thanks for your support. Greatly appreciate it. Soundspark says, is it true that a lot of the deaths due to weather disasters are due to things like people running generators indoors? I think a lot of Floridians are smart enough not to do that. I would guess that a lot of the deaths are due to air quality, are due to flooding, where people just aren't prepared, right? So my brother's girlfriend's house was built in 1966, and it's 5 feet above sea level. Okay, it's very close to sea level, and they've never had flooding problems. Nobody on their road actually evacuated. Now, my brother had recently bought a house, so they had moved out. There was still some stuff in that house, unfortunately, but some of the stuff had been taken out. But none of their neighbors had left. And by the time you realize it's too late, it's too late. And what they don't tell you about floodwater is that it's not just fresh water, or it's not just salt water. It's water from sewers. It's actual sewage. It's just everything is backing up. And you're in water that's like that. So people can get really, really bad diseases and things like that from this flood water. And the issue is the longer they stay in the flood water, the worse it gets. So they end up having to be rescued on boats. That's when the gentlemen with the big lifted pickup trucks for no valid reason and the airboats come along and validate their purchases by bringing their big lifted pickup trucks that aren't going to get flooded out. They're airboats that can go through pretty much any terrain and get people out of their homes. So it is nice to see the good old boys doing what they got to do to help people out, but it'd be nice if people that lived 5 feet above sea level kind of just left when they should. Anyways, but yes, I'm sure that there are people that run generators indoors. People leave their cars running in their garages all the time, accidentally. Some do it on purpose, but a lot do it accidentally, and they don't realize it until they feel lightheaded and all of that thing. Johnson says Floridians are smart enough. I never expected to hear that phrase. Well, you know. Yeah. Anyways. The Squid 510 says, from the vid of the drive shaft extruder, I saw it look like a weight of the drive shaft is supported by the tool head. So how much weight are you saving? I don't know. It depends on how thick the drive shaft is. It looked like it could have been printed or not, but still, it's pretty lightweight. The Squid says, have you seen your neighbor run a propane grill in the house during a hurricane blackout? I have. Well, we have a lot of houses out here that have natural gas or propane. So yes, people will do that, and they won't vent. They won't like add an exterior vent, or they won't open windows. Yeah, that can get pretty nasty pretty quickly. We are all electric here, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But with this other storm coming, yeah, I'm worried for the first time in a while. I don't get worried a lot for hurricanes, but Milton is one that is worrying me a little bit, because for those who don't know, I live about 30 minutes north of Tampa Bay. So if you look at the projection for Milton right now, we are about 35, 40 minutes north of the center of the prediction. Now, that is called the cone of uncertainty. So the hurricane can theoretically go anywhere in that cone. Anywhere on that cone is not great for us. We will still get a fair bit of wind. It won't be the worst, but it will still be pretty rough. Miss Lee Marie said, do you know about the 3D print toy drive for kids that lost everything in the hurricane? I don't. I don't watch the news very much. And I don't watch the news because they have the principle of if it bleeds, it leads. And I don't like seeing these stories, right? I recognize that puts me in a place of a bit of ignorance with all of this. I know that this storm, hilariously, the least impact was Florida, right? Because Floridians kind of knew what to do. It's the Carolinas. It's those areas that, like, towns are missing. They're gone. That's a big deal, right? I don't know what we can do to help them. I feel powerless as an individual that has a voice that can do something. I just can't. We had a fan, actually. He was in here earlier. I'll call him out. Well, what name did you use earlier? Did you use the same name? Let me make sure it was the same name. I don't want to use a different name. I'll use your YouTube name. If I can quickly find it. Where is your name in the chat? Okay, it is. It's the same. It's XYbertech, so it's Cybertech. So they are in the North Carolina area. They won some filament and they actually got the filament, but they really can't do much with it because of power. They were saying to support their local radio station. Yeah, here. I will put the link in the chat that they gave me. If you guys want to donate to support, I guess those are some pretty decent links to do it. I'm not affiliated with any of them. I haven't, confirmed or denied any allegations or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, literally donate with money that you don't mind losing kind of deal, right? It's the same way that I tell people, hey, don't back Kickstarter's money you're not willing to lose. I would assume a lot of these are going to be upstanding, but as with any natural disaster, there are always bad people that come in and try to take advantage of those who are not doing well. And literally, to give you guys an idea, we left Orlando, Florida, 7:30 in the morning Friday. So if you want to look back and see where Hurricane Helene was a little bit north of Orlando, just skirting the coast of Florida when we took off on our flight. And on our flight back, we kind of flew through the remnants of Helene and had a fair bit of turbulence. But We were actually in Gainesville Tuesday, Wednesday, and drove back Thursday. So it was interesting. And then we flew out of Orlando on Friday because we had to. Right. Miss Lee Marie says there's a Discord organizing it. A lot of 3D TikTok people. I'm not on TikTok. They have almost 5,000 toys pledged. I know it doesn't seem like enough. It's so bad. Yeah, and the thing that you're not really hearing a lot of is that a lot of these homes don't have flood insurance because they're on mountains. They shouldn't need it. And so the likelihood of them ever recovering the amount of money that they lost or what it's going to take for them to rebuild or anything like that is as close to zero as zero can get. And it is truly, truly it is a worst case scenario. And there are a couple of these spaghetti maps that have this storm going up to that area as well, which can just make a bad situation even worse. I don't know what to do. I know that we can weather whatever comes our way. Our house is relatively high above sea level. You know, if I lose the machines, I lose the machines. If we lose computers, we lose computers, right? As long as everybody survives, it's really all that I care about. I'm putting, heavy valuable stuff into Pelican cases, locking them up. Making sure everything that needs to be oiled is oiled, if you catch that drift. All the big batteries are going to be fully charged. We're going to have the solar array working overtime. So if we lose power, we should still be able to operate on some level of use. But yeah, not everyone has the benefits that we do. Not everyone is as prepared as we are. Heck, I just got an inverter designed for my EcoFlow Delta 2 that can put 800 watts from my car's alternator into that EcoFlow. Is it all that efficient? Probably not, because you can get much larger inverters for cars. But it's a nice little unit. So, yeah. I would say if you guys are in the area that has been impacted and you can help, please do. We don't have any staff in that area, but if we did, I'd be paying for them to go help, right? I don't need their help at the company. I need them to go help people that actually need it. Schmitty says trash bags and plastic sheets over your printers in case the roof leaks. What would get hurt? So, we have multiple shelves. So the XL, the Bamboo, the Fusion 3, and the Taz 6, those would be the ones that get the most damage. But as long as they're off, theoretically, and they dry off and you know how to properly clean electronics, you should be fine. I've washed electronics in the dishwasher before. As long as you know how to dry electronics and they don't get salt water on them, you should be fine. But yeah, normally, I'm locking, I'm putting the locks on my garage door. We're tying the shed down again. I'm removing some panels out of the greenhouse so that it doesn't blow the greenhouse away. It just blows through the greenhouse rather than blows it away. Schmitty says, an ounce of prevention or a week of drying. Totally get it. This is the edge of my roof over here. So you can see those are out. Those windows go to outdoors. So you don't normally get roof leaks right at the edge like that. You get them toward the top of the roof where the wind is hitting it the most. We do have a bad problem of there's a lot of construction occurring around us, so we might board up out of caution because debris flying around, but we'll see. It's Sunday, October 6th currently, so if you're listening to this audio only, the storm's already come and gone. I assume we will make it through, but, life can be a little bit weird sometimes. The Squid says Florida will be okay. People generally know what to do. The state knows what to do. Houses are built to resist it. The schools are built like bunkers and used to be and to be used as shelters. Yes, yeah. Schmitty says surprise free 2x4. Hey, back in 2020, I would have taken that, man. I would have paid for the window it broke out. But yeah, There's a school local to us where we will likely stash a car, um, and then we will move other cars to where the house should hit most of the wind, and the wind shouldn't hit the cars. And it depends if we're north or south of the eye. If we are in the eye directly, I am committing right now to go outside during the eye of the storm and film video for you all. In the eye of a hurricane is one of the eeriest things you could ever experience. I've only ever experienced it once in my life. It is the eeriest thing you could ever experience. It is quiet. And I don't know how to describe it. And I didn't have cameras back then like this. So if we can do it, I will commit to doing it. If we are in the eye, I will not be driving to go to the eye of the storm. I am not Reed Timmert, whatever the hell his name is as a storm chaser. I have a 22-year-old 2-door Honda Accord, okay? It's not fjording anything, okay? NYC Roll says, I have 1 kilowatt battery backup, and I'm always telling friends to do the same. Yeah, I have a 1 kilowatt EcoFlow Delta 2. I have the EcoFlow River 2 Pro, which is 800 watt hours. I've got a APC 3000 back there on a quad of 100 amp hour car batteries. I've got an APC 1500 here on a dual of 100 amp hour car batteries. So I can generally run this room for like 7 to 8 hours full tilt before we start to, really have to turn things off. And my internet has a battery backup that's good for about 6 or 7 hours for the internet. So if we lose power, I will still have internet. If you are in our Discord, I will do my best to be streaming to you all during all of this, like from my phone or whatever. But yeah, so we have that solar array that's good for 500 or 600 watts in its current configuration. I will likely be breaking that up into 2 smaller configurations. So that I can also be charging the River 2 Pro at the same time. So I have 2 systems running on solar. And because I used Wagos, these generic Wagos, I used Wagos to put it all together, I could easily rewire it to be whatever voltage that I need it to be, so that I can use it on multiple arrays. So, yeah. We're in Florida. We prepare for this kind of stuff. Do not do what I've done. The battery backups that we've done, don't do them unless you know what you're doing. I have a generalized idea of what I'm doing. Don't do it unless you know what you're doing, please. The GP says, take your positron inside the eye of the storm. No one has done that. I don't have a positron. Schmitty says, I recently invested in a few Life PO4 UPS backups. They were surprisingly cheap. We are looking at building a 15 kilowatt hour battery backup that's all lithium iron phosphate or Life PO4. And it should run about $2,500 to build it. I'm hoping that we can get a sponsorship from like EcoFlow or whatever as well, so that we can do a DIY or buy, which is really just my way of adding more battery capacity to what we do. But the goal is to be, reasonably self-sustainable off-grid. The big bummer that you have here in Florida when you lose power like this is you don't have air conditioning. And you might say, oh, baby doesn't have air conditioning. No. What you're missing is you don't have dehumidification that comes from air conditioning. So homes will grow mold very fast. Even if they didn't have any water in them, they get damp and sticky, and it's just kind of gross. It's just kind of gross. That's why I'm glad that I have a couple of portable air conditioner units. They just draw a ton of energy when they're on. So we're hoping to change all this stuff relatively soon. Soundspark says, does your Spectrum station have backup power? Because I run on backup power, my internet drops out after a short time. My modem, router, our modem, our router, and our main 2 APs that run the secure network and the non-secure network here at the shop, those are all on a battery backup. So I'm not worried about it. So I'm not worried about that. Kegel says, I was in the eye of Hurricane Laura. It was a sombering and humbling moment when I felt the sting of water hitting the back of my neck. Felt like BBs from a BB gun. Yeah. Squid says, in Florida, people will die without AC, mostly the elderly. Yeah, you worry a lot about the elderly out here, for ones that need oxygen and things like that. GP says, you're really selling Florida to me. I never said you should move here. People move to Florida, 1, because they hate the North, 2, because we don't have any state income tax. That's it. Those are the 2 reasons people move here. Yeah, I highly recommend that if you live in an area that doesn't have the most reliable power, that you do have some sort of backup. We literally made a video on this. It didn't get a lot of views. I didn't expect to get a lot of views. I needed to introduce the topic to you guys before we went through on it. So, yeah. David Connor Shiver says, I have a 300 amp hour Life PO4 that runs continuously for the past 5 years on my bus. No issues with that. Yeah, lithium iron phosphate is nice. It's not the angry lithium that tends to puff up and catch fire. It's the, okay, we're okay, lithium. But yeah, anyways, back to 3D Printopia. I get way too sidetracked on the storm stuff because it is very easy to get very nervous about this because there's a lot of uncertainty involved in hurricanes here in Florida. There's a lot of uncertainty. Soundspark says, great way of describing lithium ion versus lithium iron phosphate. Yeah, lithium ion is higher energy density. It weighs like 2/3 of what lithium iron phosphate weighs, but lithium ion has a tendency to become a spicy pillow where lithium iron phosphate really doesn't. If you short it, it still can, but when you're just running them normally, they don't have the tendency to have problems. But you'll see, if you live in Florida and you're near the storm, if you own an electric car, take it out of your house. Please take your electric car out of your house and leave it outside of your house. Because if your electric car catches fire, the fire department they don't really try to take them out anymore. They just let them friggin' burn. Because you have to use PFAS chemicals. They have to use the foam that has the forever chemicals in it. And no, it's bad news. Take your electric vehicles out of your house. Take them at least 20 to 30, 50 feet away, as far as you can get it away from your house reasonably. And if it goes up in flames, let it burn. Just don't let it get to your house on fire, right? Although I do think it's cool that you can use electric cars as battery backups for homes. Super freaking cool. Would love to see more of that kind of thing. The GP says, are we coming to Smurf? That is the current plan. I need to book the tickets. I learned about some more affordable airlines from people at 3D Printopia, so I'm going to be doing my research on those specific airlines as well, so that we can look at maybe saving some cash when we fly out there, because it's pretty expensive. I would like to go. Our plan is to currently be there, and I have already approved 2 big fundraising efforts that will both involve me looking like a moron, but I don't care. I'm okay with looking stupid. I'm okay with some mild pain here or there. If we can raise money for the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation and help neurodiverse makers similar to myself and maybe some of you be able to get into this industry. So I'm gonna do what I can. David Connoisseur says the BMS on mine won't let it. It will discharge all the way down to -4 Fahrenheit. Damn, that's pretty cool. Schmitty says, oh, speaking of AC and melting, 3D Printopia might need a bigger venue or hold it a little later in the year because with all them bodies and printers, it was warm. That was warm for you, buddy. That was comfy for me. I keep my house at 77 because it is too damn expensive to keep it any colder than that. I used to keep it at 82, but we did a test and we found that 77 actually only cost me about $2 more a month than 82. And I will gladly take it down to 77. And I know Ashley's going to maybe be here at some point saying, that's too hot. I know it's too hot, but I'm poor and I have YouTube money, which means I have negative money because YouTube is a loss leader for us. So it is what it is, man. I'm okay with being a little bit uncomfortable. Just like I'm okay with being a little bit uncomfortable for raising money. For me, it is all about helping other people, and we do what we do to help other people. yeah, making content's a lot of fun. But if it wasn't for you all watching and, some of the really awesome comments that we get of, hey, this really helped and things like that, I don't know if I'd still be doing it. It's a very difficult thing to do. So, Mr. Crin says, keep streaming until you make your goal. Bro, that would be a long time. That'd be a long time. But thank you for the $1.99. Greatly appreciated. You've been dropping a lot this stream. Thank you. Seriously, that's it means a lot. Thank you to everyone that has supported us through this stream or any others. And it's because of generous donations from viewers like you that we keep these streams ad-free. I was hoping to do the Mark 3.5 upgrade like Monday or Tuesday, but now because of the storm, we're gonna be delaying that again to be a little bit longer. So nothing I can really do. So sorry about that. Yeah, Printopia was seriously amazing. What was my favorite thing other than that talk with the other content creators? It just kind of it validated the way that I've been feeling about our channel as well. What else was really awesome? Meeting the fans. My favorite thing is getting to meet fans. I love it. I absolutely love meeting fans. It is my favorite thing to do when we go to shows because, well, parasocial relationships are complicated. And I love being able to meet people that support us in person. I don't know. It's really cool. Oh, David Conashover for the $5. Thank you. Appreciate it. Seriously. He says, keep it up. I appreciate it. Hey, and that's part of my. I'm still on my weight loss journey. For those that don't follow us on Twitter, you actually saw that I technically hit my goal for my weight loss journey. I was able to fit into my suit for the Cade Prize event where we gave away $100,000 to five small businesses. Not my money, to be clear. I was just a judge. And the winner was Wiggle Brew. They have a really cool company. They won $60,000 total. It was a really, really cool event. But I was able to fit into my suit for that event. So those of you that don't follow us on social media, I actually hit my my diet goal. I am not stopping the diet for 2 weeks. I did because we were traveling for those 2 weeks for the most part. But starting Monday, I'm back on that diet. So I am hoping to get back into like the low 200s, like 205, 210, somewhere in that range would be nice for me. So, yeah. So, Duff says, aren't all business owners wealthy? Man, I'm the last one to get paid, and there's not normally money for me to get paid at the end of it all. Yeah. Diameta says, need to move. Good live, Grant, and the rest of the 3D Musketeers team. Keep doing your great job. Appreciate it, boss. Appreciate it. Fun times. We are expanding as a company as well. So we brought on more engineers. We got a biz dev guy. I'm looking for someone to help out on the YouTube side of things. So if you know how to do that kind of stuff and you want to potentially work with us, let me know. You can just send me an email. And if you don't know how to do that by now, you can Google it. Got to make you do a little bit of work. But yeah, we're looking for biz dev people to assist in bringing in more sponsorships and things like that. I take it way too personally, and I found that I'm not the only one that has this problem. A lot of other content creators have this issue. So, yeah, if that's your kind of thing and you want to help out, we're looking for people. I understand that that's a bit of a risk because I'll be paying more people to do jobs that we just have to find more work to do. But I think that in the long run, it's going to help me be a more effective content creator where I can worry about what I need to film and worry about the content, worry less about how are we going to pay for it all, if that makes sense. So content's weird. And I think I share a lot about the business side of it with you guys. We're going to be doing another business video here next month, probably, because we have the rest of this month is pretty much slated already for content. We have 3D Printopia videos starting up on Wednesday. It should be Wednesday, Thursday, then Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Then by the time all the 3D Printopia videos are done, the Prussia tour videos are going to start from our tour November of last year. So when I still had long hair, but we're still going to show you guys. I've had my first review of all of them. They're good, but there's still some more that we need to do. Yeah. Oh, David Sanchez has to wait for my dry box tier list. Dude, so this is one of those things that we don't get to talk about a ton, but there are so many video ideas that I want to do, but fitting them into our current content schedule becomes very complicated. And timing for me can often be difficult, right? With all the traveling that we have, that we just did, that we have coming up, and a lot of the jobs that we have, for me to spend the time to do those types of videos right now, not 100% in my feasible time allotment. But if we can bring in the right people so I can delegate some more of those tasks away from me, that could easily be somebody else's job, we could certainly look at doing more in-depth videos than that. I've been doing a long-term test of the Polymaker poly dryer. What's it sitting? Oh, I can't see it. It's sitting inside of the Fusion 3 sealed, but its chamber has slowly started to creep up for humidity. So my theory, since we did dry it to sub 15% ambient humidity, my theory is that these boxes are not as sealed as we think they are, but I have to test it. I have my other poly dryer box is out in my garage, which is very damp right now, especially right now because it's raining currently. Johnson says I still have long hair. Hey, look, man, I got a haircut, okay? Yeah, I kept a little bit of length in the top. I like a little bit of curliness at the top, you know? Stuff says. Moist. That one's for you, Duff. That one is just for you. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed 3D Printopia, or Earthtopia, or whatever the hell you want to call it. It was just so cool to see everybody incredibly just enthralled with making cool stuff. And it's why we always say keep making awesome at the end of every video, because awesome is, well, up to you. It's whatever you find awesome, not what I find awesome. You might find something super cool that I don't particularly care about. And quite often vice versa, right? You got, like, I find the solar thing really, really cool. Not a lot of people watch that video. No big deal. I did that to introduce the topic. We've got a lot coming on that. It's going to be a while before our next video on that. My goal is to do like one kind of like different video every other month and be able to show off other things that are occurring in here. If we can introduce a topic and it does really, really well, I will push that up to multiple videos or do one a month. But right now I have to be careful because we are trying to grow the channel, obviously. What was the craziest thing that we saw at 3D Printopia? I mean, seeing the Enable stuff was super cool. They had a voice-activated hand at Enable, and I did like that. We shot with that a little bit. Upside-down printers are awesome. Yep, but most printers can go upside down, Nomad. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff. Oh, I got Prussia's CMO, Rudolph, in an interview. That was fun. So Rudolph was in an interview. Joe wasn't feeling great most of it, so that was kind of a bummer. Yeah. I don't know. What did we see? The Hue Fortruth was amazing. We didn't get a chance to go talk with them. There was like a biker gang of people on 3D printed trikes that occurred after the show. That was weird. Yeah, voice-activated hand was really impressive. You could make it do the middle finger if you tried hard enough, but we opted not to get it on camera. But it was really cool to see the voice-activated hand. We will have Enable on a podcast coming up where we talk about 3D printed prosthetics for children and adults that are actually affordable. And I will have a bit of a call out for people when we do that. So, yeah. Super, super cool. Oh, Sparta Filament was there. Mr. Grinch says Sparta Filament. I don't know. I really like Printed Solid Filament, and they are sponsoring these giveaways. So if you do want some Printed Solid Filament, you could go ahead and give that. You can go ahead and enter. You got a pretty decent chance. 77 people here watching. 37 likes. We got to add some more likes to this. And thank you again for the $1.99. Sparta does have some new stuff. They gave us a couple of rolls, which I wasn't expecting. Some of Sparta's spokespeople don't like me very much. So I haven't really had a chance to really work a lot with their filament. Because some of their spokespeople just don't like me very much. Who knew? People don't like me. But Polar had a bunch of cool stuff. They were doing their filament exchange that went exceedingly well from what I'm told. We got some really cool, transition spools from them. So just like, stuff they can't technically sell, but, can still hand out to cool folks. Amber got a green spool. I got a blue spool, and it was pretty awesome. Printed Solid did not have a booth there. They are divesting, I think, from the maker fairs and all of that. But, I don't know. We can talk to David about that if you guys want. We can see about getting him on a podcast to talk more about that. Mrs. Lee Marie 3D says, I went to buy Prushment off of Printed Solid, but it's almost all sold out. All right, I'm going to show you guys something. I'll be right back. Oh, wait. I think my cable's long enough to get it. I can see it. I have something really cool that I want to show you. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Okay. I'm right here. I'm falling. All right. Fell into the seat. Look at the sticker on this box. This box. This spool. This 2.2 kg? Never even opened it. This Prusa Galaxy Black that I will never open is spool number 3 off of the line that Printed Solid has from Prusa Research. That is super freaking cool. I have the third spool. Nero has spool number 2 because he went on Monday. We went to Printed Solid on Tuesday. So I have spool number 3. Spool number 1 went to the U.S. ambassador in the Czech Republic, or the other way around. Went to someone special. But yeah, this spool is really special. It's going to go on my shelf with my spool of Brad's Orange that Brad himself spooled up when he was at Printed Solid years ago. So yeah, made in America Prushment, which is super freaking cool. I really, really like that. We unfortunately can't show you guys the line from Prusa. It is going to be in the video, but we have to blur all of it out. Like, we are explicitly told that we cannot show that on camera. Because there are some very unique things about that line. But it was pretty cool, and you can see I'm gonna cover the QR code because I don't know what the QR code actually says. You can see the bottom, proudly made in the USA. So that is super cool. Right on this. Very cool to see. Made in the USA for filament. It's very cool. Will the Maker says, is Printed Solid becoming more and more pure a Prusa outpost, and Printed Solid will end up being less and less of a company and more of a brand name? So we'll be part of Prusa booths and shows. I don't know how the shows are going to go, but Printed Solid still operates their own separate business that is still under the Prusa. And so, all right, Prusa bought Printed Solid. Okay, so bought the shares to Printed Solid, but Dave is still the president of Printed Solid. So things like the Jesse line of filament, as far as I'm aware, not going anywhere. Period. Like, the filament is not going anywhere. Their enclosures are not going anywhere. Even though they directly compete with Prusa, they're not going anywhere, from my understanding. I did get to see a couple of HT90s in person. Those were super cool, and I want one very badly. But, yeah, none of that is changing. Jessie will still and has been always made in America, which is awesome. I love to see that. So, super cool stuff. Yeah. John Stern. Oh, John Stern. Oh, man. The big problem is you won't be able to buy it using a credit card. You have to pay by check, and that's CZECH. If I had a nickel for every time a joke similar to that was made, I'd be a rich man. But yeah, Print Solid's not going anywhere. I don't know if they're going to be at a lot of shows. I know why, but I can't speak to it. So if you want to know if Printed Solid is going to be at shows, your best bet is to reach out to Printed Solid. So, yeah. Spectre 3i says, I tried buying an MK4S from Prusa 3D. I guess they don't take Discover. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. The Squid says, well, guess I now know where I'm buying all my filament from. Yep. Thank you for the $5 as well. Appreciate it. Yeah. Now that Prushment's going to be made in the USA to some extent, right? They're still making a lot of it in the EU, but now that Printed Solid is spinning up this line, I'm very excited to see more of it. Printed Solid has a third line. So now they have kind of like a test line. I have a one of a run that they were literally screwing around when we were there on one of the lines, making a color. And it's a really pretty color, and I hope that they make it. I hope they make an entire line like this. And it is not the elixir that I have that I took back from Printed Solid. Yeah. It's a thing. You guys will see there's a lot of cool stuff coming from Printed Solid that we got to show you in the video. But yeah. So, suggestion line of filament made in the USA. Yes, Kegel, it is. Okay, I don't know how to say people's names. But yes, Jessie is made in America. You want that red elixir. This is Royal Ruby. I want more of it too. I was only able to snag 2 spools, one for me, one for Amber. Because Amber wasn't letting me just take one. I had to get another one for her. So I had to sweet talk him to giving me another one for Amber. Yeah, if you didn't see, Printed Solid teased all the new elixir colors. So you should go take a look at it. Yeah, Will of the Maker said, I can't wait for more Printed Solid colors and filament type. Been waiting for elixir since your last video tour. Dude, we all have been. We've all been waiting for elixir. I thought it was going to be happening sooner, and I believe they did too. But their rapid expansion, like their company literally doubled in extrusion capabilities from the last time that we were there. Last time we were there, they had 2 lines. This time they have 4, although only one of them is theirs. The 4th one is Prusa's. But yeah. Okay, Kegel. Okay, I had it right the first time. It's a German origin name. Noted. Thank you. But yeah, it is it's cool. And yes, as John says, Printed Solid does take a while to get to the West Coast. That is a bummer. I don't know what they're doing to solve that, but yeah. But hey, if you win it for free, doesn't matter if it takes a while, right? Miss Lee Marie says, we currently use Polymaker and Ambrosia from West 3D, but when I saw the Galaxy Green from Prushment, I wanted it so bad. Yeah, I don't have any more Galaxy Green because every time I get some in, Amber just says, mine, and it's gone. It's just poof. It goes away. Yeah, the Galaxy Green is chef's kiss beautiful. It is probably my current favorite color of filament, and I would really like to see it get made in a PETG, and more specifically like an ASA. Will asks, do I think Printed Solid will do other materials like ABS or ASA? They could, but I don't know if they have intentions of doing it currently. So, yeah. And as John Sir says, I can get Polymaker next day or worst 2 days after ordering. Yeah, that's the benefit of having many, many, many lines, the ability to store lots of inventory. Yeah, different companies. One is made in America. The other mostly isn't. I know Polymaker is starting to spin up lines here in the States, but you do also pay for that convenience. You are often paying more for Polymaker than you are paying for printed solid. So, I don't know. You know, pick your poison there. I will say I have Polymaker. In fact, this is Polymaker filament because that client specifically requests that we use a specific Polymaker filament. But I do prefer printed solid. I prefer polar. I prefer to support USA companies where we can. That's not like some, oh, boo, China. It's no, I want to keep jobs here in America and keep people like Heather, like Matt, and like Mitch from Polar and all these other awesome people. I want them to remain, you know, bountifully employed, doing what they love and, you know, live in harmony amongst all the other brands as well. So, and as Johnson says, US filament is hard. It is. It is very hard. It is very, very, very difficult to produce anything in the States and be able to offer it at a competitive price. And the fact that Polar filament and printed solid can both do it is nothing short of a miracle, right? The fact that they can do it and they can do it at a reasonable price. Lee Marie says, oh, never mind. I can't save you a spool of Prusa, only the Ambrosia. I can get Ambrosia too. It's no big deal. Will of the Maker with 75 NT. What does NT mean? Is that New Zealand? What's NT? 75 NTs. I don't know what that is. All right. Now you got to tell me. Is it Taiwanese? Is it Taiwanese? Don't know why it does Taiwanese money still. I lived in Taiwan 6 years ago. It's okay, it's Taiwanese. I didn't know that. Cool. Hey, I don't think we've ever gotten Taiwanese money before, but hey, thanks. Lived in Taiwan 6 years ago and it hasn't updated. Oh no. Miss Lee Marie 3D, welcome to Basic Support. Thank you as well. Thank you. Thank you all for supporting in what we do here. Yeah, I will say it is interesting to see everything that is changing in this industry. A lot of makers coming out with really cool projects. A lot of businesses are not iterating as fast. And I've got some new printers to show off. We've got the new Cheaty X Plus 4. That's not happening for at least a week minimum. And we've got a new printer from Sovol that they sent me, even though I'm under a media embargo until November. So I just have a box until November. But we have a lot of cool machines coming up. So thank you. Nomad's Galaxy for the $5 says, America, I thought you only paid in Australian dollar dues because you're upside down. Shane is here. Shane says, oh man, I thought I was free from you. Nope, buddy, you can't get away from me, but gotta get some made in America Prushiment. See, Shane, every day, Shane, I get further away from you. Hey man, be glad you're no longer in Florida. This new storm looks like it's about to rock our area. And Hendrick's here. Why are all my cool overseas friends here and are only all of a sudden saying, hey? Freaking Hendrick showed off some cool stuff. He had that C3PO head. Gave me... Oh, I gotta find my badge. I have a really cool electroplated benchy from him. That is so cool. Shane says, admit it, you can't quit me. I hit it and I thought I could quit it, but I can't quit it, unfortunately. Especially after that server called me daddy. And see, that's a story that I will not say anything further to. You will have to be in our Discord to know that story. Amber, the only reason I pop in here, I miss you, Shane says. Yeah, that's fair. Everybody loves Amber. Is this like everybody loves Raymond, but Amber's Raymond, and I'm just like the random person that happens to be in the area? Shane says, oh my god. Hi, 3DP Daddy. Hey, man, it is what it is. Jesse with the 4.99. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Oh, man, that last, that Monday. That Monday was an absolute just craziness. But yeah, Hendrik and Jantek were together. They had a cool booth. Jantek, or Jantek, it's Jan, were showing, one, how I suck at basically everything. I can't polish worth a damn, and I apparently suck at doing multi-material printing because, good lord, between the two of them, they are the powerhouses that just know everything about electroplating and everything about like really dope multi-material printing. Yeah, if you don't know about either Jantek or Hendrik, y'all gotta go learn about it. And of course, Shane. Shane is awesome. Same old Shane says, I will confirm that Grant sucks at everything. Shane, that is way too easy of a joke to make here. Hey, part of getting better at something is being bad at it for at least a little bit, right? You know, not everybody can be you, Shane. We all can't be good at things the first time that we try. Okay? I'm sure even Hendrik was only mildly okay at electroplating when he first started. Now he's the electroplating god. Man knows how to... Like, that's the C-3PO head that Hendrik had at the show looked like a movie prop. Like a proper freaking movie prop. Okay? Like, just blows my mind how talented some of the people there actually are. And I am sure that I missed some like real proper talent at the show too. It's just, yeah. That's the only bummer about these shows, is you can never see everything when you're a content creator. Shane says, no one is bad at anything. You just make mistakes that turn into learning experiences, and you learn and grow from them before people actually think that we don't like one another. Yeah, no, Shane and I are friends. We're friends. We've been friends for a while. Yeah, no, we're friends. Don't worry. He's a mod. Mods are allowed to make fun of me. They do it constantly. That's their job. Oh, and then there's Jantek. Hendrik's like, Jan, he's talking about you. Get in the stream. Hurry. Oh man, you guys are too much fun. I think the only bummer at the show was that Jan is too young to drink in America. So like at all these events where we had alcohol, he couldn't have it. We're all like, are we supposed to like sneak him drinks? Like, are they gonna be cool with that? Because like he can drink in his home country. Like, come on, it's fine. It's fine. It's a 3D Printopia reunion. Shane says, yep, it is. Shane just graces with the more you know. Yeah, I had a science professor in high school use a German phrase, and now that there are Germans here, I'm going to get properly, hated on for it, but it's good as gut genug. It's good as good enough. That's how I believe a lot of makers should kind of look at things. And I know it's hard, especially as a content creator. Like, anyone that's a content creator, you're like, it must be perfect. But at some point, it can't be, right? And so it is has gotten a lot different, I would say. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that the hardest thing in this industry is comparing yourselves to others, right? Like, it will be so hard for me to do a video on electroplating, knowing that I can't do anywhere near as good as Hendrik. It will be hard for me to do a video on like multi-material stuff to know that I can never be as in-depth as Jantek does. And by the way, Jan does 2 videos every single time he does a video, because he does a video in English and then a video in German. Like, from a content creation perspective, that is so much extra work, right? And yes, they're voiceovers, but it's still a lot of extra work. Yeah, that professor in high school's name was John Winchester, former NASA aeronautical engineer, retired, climbed Mount Fuji for his 50th birthday, and decided that he wanted to go into teaching. I remember him well over what? Almost, yeah, 16 years later. From when I graduated high school in 2008. I had him junior and senior year of high school. I still remember his name. So, yeah. I mean, it's just... Some people will have a major impact on your life, and you will never forget their names. And he was one of them. So, 2008, youngling. Yeah. Look, all right. I was a 90s kid that was raised as a 70s kid, okay? I love my Earth, Wind, and Fire, Luther Vandross, Stevie Wonder, Al Green, and all that stuff. My dad raised me to good music, okay? Damn it. And maybe that's why we get along so well, Shane. Amber's an old soul, I'm an old soul, and Shane, you're Shane. And we almost saw you cry too. It was funny because we were having such a good time at that breakfast. But yeah, I think seeing all these awesome people are what make those events just incredibly worth it to me. Obviously getting to, getting real Jesse's Elixir and spool number 3 of Made in America Prushament, right? Like, that stuff is super cool. But to me, the cool thing is being able to see people and get to talk with them that I watch, that I look up to, that, that I really connect with. Yeah, that's what I love the most about it. Shane says she needs to be the guest MC at next year's Printopia, but all the kiddies need to be out of the building. I totally agree. Her name is Mel. She works at the Bob Evans in Bel Air. So if you live near Bel Air or Aberdeen, if you live near Aberdeen, Maryland, and you want just a riot, go there, find Mel, or see if Mel is working, and tell her that 3D Printing Daddy says hello. Hendrik says, "Oh, dinner time. Glad you're safe and sound in Florida, Grant." Hendrik, I don't know if you've seen the news yet, but there's another hurricane that's gonna basically dead impact my area, theoretically, in the next 2 or 3 days. So, yeah. So we got home okay, but we came home to another storm that is coming through. So we're doing what we can to prepare, but until probably Monday, we won't really know enough to decide, are we putting shutters up or not? But it looks like Tuesday to Wednesday is when it should be hitting us. So Shane says, yeah, so Mother Nature, fate, Jeebus apparently hates Florida this month. Yeah. Hendrik says, I've been here since 60 hours. Missed that. Sorry, stay safe. Appreciate it, boss. No, it's all good, dude. It's all good. Or 60 mins. Yep, you're good. You're good, dude. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I hope we're spared from the worst, too. It looks like it's going to be a Cat 3 when it makes landfall, so 115 miles an hour is a Cat 3. Yeah, Sparks on Taps is about to see if MacDill really has that death ray. So there's a thing. There's a conspiracy theory here in Florida that MacDill Air Force Base, which is the Air Force Base here in Tampa, has an anti-hurricane system thingamadoohickey. And because since MacDill Air Force Base has opened, there has not been a major storm that has made landfall in the Tampa Bay area. So if this storm just all of a sudden makes a huge turn in another direction, it's MacDill Air Force Base. And I am sorry, it is irrefutable at this point. Cheetah Kid says, is it windy today? The storm is way off by Mexico. It's not close to us right now. So yeah, Cat 3, what's the data rate on that? Shane says, well, at least you have content ready to go. Can solar panels survive a hurricane? I don't know. We're going to find out. They should be fine. As long as they don't get, like, picked up and thrown, they should be fine. Really weird track for the storm. No. Yeah. Yeah, this storm's just coming straight across the Gulf, it looks like right now, but um we will see what happens, right? Um I'm just worried for people that got damage from Helene that could get more damage from another storm, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks later? Uh Kaggle says, or mangled by hail. Hail's the thing that I fear the most, because you can't really protect vehicles from hail. And if your windshield or any of your windows get smashed out from hail, your car's done. And I don't really have the money to replace a car. 150-mile-an-hour winds, that's fine, Shane says. Yeah, it's very fast. Very fast. Didn't Francis go through Tampa Bay? I don't think Francis was a big storm. But yeah. Yeah. Sparks on Tap says, why hasn't more places invested in that wall that Tampa General used? Yes, for those that didn't see the news, Tampa General has a water wall, I think is what they call it. But it's a waterproof wall that they can literally set up around the hospital. And there's a picture of a dude kind of touching the wall. And on the other side, the water is above him. Super cool. It is super, super, super cool. We are high enough in elevation that I'm not too worried about water. We're over 100 feet. I think we're about 195 feet above sea level. So should be okay. But I worry about wind. I worry about debris. I worry about the roof of my house getting pulled away. I worry about my old car getting damaged. So yeah, if it does look like it's going to start to hail, literally one of the things you do is you grab rugs and you throw rugs over your car windows so that the rug distributes the impact of the hail over the vehicle. So yeah, if I have water issues, it's pretty bad. And yes, John Stern, I am actually near the second highest point in Florida. If you look up Lehup Hill, Lehup, I believe is how they say it. Lehup Hill is 220 feet above sea level. And that is a couple of miles as the crow flies from where I live. Yeah, I know that I'm like effectively doxing myself, but hi, welcome to Florida. Nothing is private here. You can literally figure out exactly where I live. Just, I swear, do not show up to my house unattended without, like, if you don't have a meeting, do not show up here. That is what we like to call in the business not compatible with life. You feel me? So don't do that. But yes, 220 feet is the second highest point in Florida. It's around the corner from me. And yes, lolling. A 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee two-wheel drive in full neutral will get to about 65 miles an hour by the bottom of that hill, allegedly. Just saying. Allegedly. I would have never done that myself, but allegedly. Inquiring minds want to know. Cheetah says you live in a tree house. I could. We have enough trees around here, but no, I don't live in a tree house. That would be smart, though. I've seen people tie pool noodles together to protect from hail. That's actually pretty smart. I might go to the dollar store and get some pool noodles. That's actually really smart. Yeah, we get kind of crazy out here when it comes to, just in general for Florida, but like, my local power company, with Withlacoochee River Electric, it is spelled exactly the way you think it should be spelled. They will literally call us and tell us they're de-energizing the lines. So, like, if there's enough power lines down, they'll say, hey, they'll do a reverse 911 to all their customers, say, hey, we're de-energizing the lines. They do that on paper so that you know that the lines aren't hot and that the lines are safe. Why they're really doing it is because they want the good old boys with their pickup trucks and chainsaws to go help their crews. And now the good old boys know it's safe. Withlacoochee. Withlacoochie. Withlacoochee River Electric. It is spelled exactly the way that you want it to be spelled. And yes, there's a river called the Withlacoochee River, and they're on the river. Anyways, yeah, they give us some warning because they serve less than 300,000 homes. Like it's a co-op. Like it's my favorite power company I've ever had. They are amazing. They get crews out super fast. they're such a small power company that if they have half of their people, like half of their customers are out of power, it's only 150,000 people or so. Versus Duke Energy that has half of their people out. That's millions of people. So, yeah, they will actually tell us, and they'll give us warnings when they're going to re-energize the lines during storms, so that if we are still working, yeah, we can kind of clear out. But I don't have a gas chainsaw anymore. I went to it was my neighbor's before he passed. And he never took good care of it. The lines rotted on it. And in my attempt to repair it, I might have broken it a little bit more. But I have a 80-volt electric chainsaw with an 18-inch bar on it. And I've got a couple of 14-inch, and I have a 10-inch 12-foot pole saw, too. All of which are electric. And I have the batteries to run them. So we can definitely take care of that. But a lot of these power companies are really good about trimming trees before the storm, so that even if the trees do fall, they generally don't take out the lines. So, should be okay. Should be okay. Yeah, Shane says Duke Energy is not a fun company to deal with. Yeah, like, I can call my power company, and yeah, there's the automated call queue, whatever, but I could also then talk to a real human, and it's really easy to do it, and I love them. Anyways, I'm going on way too long about things that don't matter, and nobody else is. Steve Bill's over at Voron VICE. Nero's at Voron VICE, I assume. Helge Keck said, "I came for 3D printer talk, but I stay for weather and electricity company talk." Yeah, I know. Oh man, he ADHD'd his way out of talking about the real subject of the episode. Who knew that would be a thing? I guess I got to go change the title to 3D Printopia and, hurricanes. Oh, Dustin, I think Nero is home. Oh, well, that's a bummer. I thought Nero was going to go to Vice. Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to see it from Steve's perspective then. All right, well, maybe is Nero streaming today? Who's streaming right now that I can, push people into? I don't know. Anyways, okay, so I'm going to do my send-off here. Then we're going to give away some filaments, so stay after the send-off. Don't leave when I say have a good one, because I have to say this every time, because a lot of you end up leaving, and you all aren't here for the damn filament giveaway. So, this has been episode 206 of the Making Awesome podcast, where we ADHD'd our way through 3D Printopia, Hurricane, and Travel Talk. Stay safe out there. Please stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And if you are having a hard time reaching your loved ones and they are in areas of, disaster, please try to call the local police stations via the non-emergency numbers to see if they can get someone to go take a look at them. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one. Okay. Now it's time to give away some filament. Mr. Grinch, $1.99, said even numbers. Thank you. All right, let's give away some filament. I'm going to turn off the responses here. 40 people, that's it. 40 people. Oh, Google Docs updated everything. Interesting. All right, 40 people. Let's get the names into the wheel of names. How many spools should we give away? Y'all tell me how many spools should we give away? Oh, my computer's angry. Come on, computer, you got this. Every time, man, Wheel of Names is just hard on this computer for some reason. Shane says 499. Shane, you're gonna have to approve that with Dave. I am not giving away 40 spools. Shane says -5. I did bring home enough spools for -5. How many subscribers do I have? 44,500, something like that. One more if one of you subscribes. God. All right. Control A, Control V. Let's do the shuffle game. Let's give away 3 spools. Give away 3 spools. First winner need to make sure they did the math right. Where are they? Did they do the math right? Yes, they did. Hypermotive Racing, you win a spool of Jesse Filament. And you must be present to win. Don't email me after the fact and say, oh, I missed it. Too bad. Oh, God, I have to send one to him? Damn it. Nomad's Galaxy won. Ugh. Did he do the math right? I should just say he didn't do the math right, even if he did. Gross. I guess Nomad Galaxy gets a spool of filament. I love you, Nomad. All right, and the last one. Let me see. Yes, they did. Chad Kreider. Chad Kreider. I saw a Nomad in there earlier, so I know he's there. Hypermotive Racing and Chad Kreider. Are you guys in the chat? Fruit Dragon 02 says, I won a couple of weeks ago, but can't seem to get a hold of anyone. I messaged on Patreon and Instagram. I don't check Instagram all that much. I will check Patreon. Patreon doesn't always send us emails when people message, so I will check that, and if I see it, I'll get it to you. If not, just email me, youtube at 3dmusketeers.com. Chad Kreider is there. Where's Hypermotive Racing? Can someone tag Hypermotive Racing? Please. Oh, Hypermotive Racing says, I am not present. Okay, they're there. All right, everyone's there. Cool. 3 rolls filament, 3 people. Y'all enjoy the rest of your days, evenings, whatevers. I'm so sorry, Shane, that you had to spend your evening with me, and I guess Hypermotive Racing is tagging themselves. You guys are great. You guys are great. I was going to be going down to FL2K today, but the weather is not participating, so no FL2K to me. Dark Third Dimension's asking about any word on t-shirts. No, I have put that on the back burner at the moment. We are working on some business stuff right now. I will pick that back up hopefully in the next couple of weeks, but let me get through this hurricane first, and then I'll put in another order for some samples. So, yeah. Yeah, Chad, you can email me. That's fine, too. But yeah. Apparently Shane said that he heard a rumor. I don't know what rumor it is. Mini Bice 1234 says, are you a drag race fan? Dude, I live in Florida. Of course I love cars. And FL2K is finally on a weekend where it's not 3D Printopia and the weather's been crap the entire time. For Dragon says, if you need a graphic designer, I'm here. Ooh, yes. Email me. Email me your resume. I will respond to you via Patreon messages because I do see it in there. So yeah. Larry says, be safe out there. Greetings from Bavaria. Dude, that's super cool. Shane says you are going to wear the new Musketeer 2-string G-string bikini at Smurf. Only if you wear it with me. There you go. See, I'll do something stupid if you do. Kegel asks, how close am I to the Freedom Factory? It's about an hour and a half from me, but it's about 5 miles from where my parents live. So my parents live in Bradenton, so I could go hang out with them. Shane wants to Shane that will affect tourism. Shane, does that mean we have to get like full body waxes or something for it so we look like Borat? All right, I'm gonna go before I get myself into more trouble. Y'all enjoy your day. Take care.